So not only during excavation to make sure the dirt doesn't freeze, but also after they're done digging the hole, I'm filling it with blankets until I pour my footings. Once they're poured, we're covering all that up with the blankets again.
What, they're a chargeable item?
Oh, yeah.
Our ground is freezing now. I'm rolling out concrete
Jimmy's ready.
blankets.
Yeah.
I think going back to the the time management thing, I don't think I realized how bad I was at until I had kids.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, you have to try to find the time to spend with kids.
What value do you get out of branding your machines? Because let me tell you, you spend more money on branding them than most.
I have a hot take on that, if I may.
Ooh, yeah, please give it.
The reason I know it matters is because if it didn't, the brands wouldn't spend money putting their own names on there.
Is there a possibility that in the future we're going to have people not dabbling in social media creation in the industry?
Yeah.
It's now.
It's now.
It's the time.
G'day everyone, welcome back to episode 3. I'll hand it over to Caleb to introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb Auman. We have a design firm called Auman Outdoor. We're a landscape design build company in Columbus, Ohio. We're maybe on the smaller end compared to some of my peers here. We're about $2.5 million in revenue, and we focus again on outdoor design and implementation of outdoor living spaces.
Okay, yeah, and Sean, take it away, mate.
All right. I'm Sean Coghlan, Shamrock Earthworks in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada. We do residential excavation, retaining walls, rock retaining walls, that kind of thing. So, and I'm here to talk about how cold it is in Canada.
It's what all Canadians like to speak about, mate.
It is, yep.
I'm Stephanie Dailey. I'm a luxury custom home builder out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Focus mostly on residential construction and dabble a bit in content creation.
Dabbling. That's actually something I want to bring up today. And
The dabbling.
And the guy who's trying to blend
dabbling.
into the couch in the
I'm
corner.
blending natural tones. Natural tones. I'm Dane Cotten with DC Excavation out of Bozeman, Montana. We're primarily a civil contractor. We do site development, land management, anything you need along those lines. Used to do more residential. Now we're kind of only in the commercial space, doing some federal work at this point.
Oh, look at you. Well, thank you very much. How was everyone's day at the Expo?
Hot.
It's nice and toasty.
It
It was good.
stinking
awesome.
hot.
Hard
Yeah.
to cover
Good.
all the ground, man. There's so much.
No, there's
Yeah.
too much, I think, to get done properly, really.
I think day two's hard because everybody wants to do their parties and everything on day one night. So day two starts off a little sluggish.
What else is interesting, though, is no one does a pre-party. Like, we put on, like, I've been doing drinks for a while on the Monday night. How many people were there? I know
It was busy. It was
Did
good.
you come down?
I didn't come till Tuesday.
Rude.
I
Anyway,
know.
but, like, it was busy.
It
And
was busy.
You
It was
guys,
real
Great
busy.
event. Yeah.
you were there and you hadn't came yet.
No, I flew in the evening there. So by the time I got my badge, got to the hotel, it was pretty late.
So I think that there's an opportunity there for people to throw a party on Monday where actually a lot of people would go.
Yeah, a lot of people come in on Tuesday, but even then, I mean, everybody wants to come to Vegas.
Yeah.
Through that. I'll bring up your point first and then we'll see how it goes. Is there a possibility that in the future we're going to have people not dabbling in social media creation in the industry? It seems like we're the only industry that has people who dabble. Like, we all have to run our own businesses. Everyone on these panels has to run a business and create content. And we all, it's a lot of work. If anyone saw the behind the scenes here of how to put on a podcast and everything, is there a time in the future where there is going to be professional content creators for construction?
It is now.
Yeah.
It's now.
It's now.
It's the time. Because the reality is, like you said, we all have to run our businesses. So these brands choose to partner with us because we are running a successful business they want to be behind. So
Yeah. I mean, you're basically doing 2 full-time jobs, right? You're running your business, but you're also trying to run this whole secondary business of creating content. Not only is it profitable, but it's also giving back to our industry and making a huge impact, not only from the brands that we work with, but also the future generations of people that want to do what we all do. So I think it's necessary. I do think it is now. It's just a matter of as small business owners, how do we figure out how to run our businesses and also be this content creator, because we have to do both.
It's tough. I think it's the big thing of it is legitimacy, like you're saying, right? Of like, oh, they're just, and there are some guys that do that, right? That are solely content creators, and they are hated on to no end sometimes because, oh, you don't really run a company, or what real experience do you have in construction, and so you kind of get painted into a corner if you don't, and then at the same time, you know, you're working legitimately 2 freaking jobs, running a social media company, if you will, and running your other company.
But
that creates
running a
content.
small business in construction is 2 jobs in itself, half of the
Yeah,
time.
right. Yeah, maybe it's your 3rd job, right?
You know, and so then, like, you ran a podcast, Caleb. Do you still run it now?
Yeah, we have
And
podcasts
how many-
and YouTube and all that stuff. Yeah, it's craziness.
And your podcast comes out weekly?
I do
Fortnightly?
2 a week, and that's paring down
Wow.
from 3 a week. That was
Wow.
crazy, man.
It's a lot.
And so how long
Yeah,
are
I
your
got these
episodes?
wrinkles legit, man. I'm like,
How long are your episodes for it?
they'd hover 40 minutes to an hour. So yeah.
So we do hour-long episodes at home. Me and Louis do hour-long episodes. It takes 3 hours to 4 hours to do an hour-long without me doing anything other than speaking to the guy, you know. But because we do them in person, I think online ones are slightly easier because you can just log on to that app. There's, I don't know, some app, we run it through Riverside or something that you can do it. But how long do you think it takes you to do one episode?
When you can, the way I look at it is at least 40 minutes, and then there's a front and back end of that, just moving your mics, and just, it sounds trivial and silly, but legit just getting set up, kind of getting from the rush of the day. One thing that's helped me is time blocking, and Wednesdays is my media day now. Like, I try to not handle much of the company stuff that day on Wednesday, and so Wednesday is the day we schedule our guests for the podcast. We create other YouTube content and for a training school that we have, and so I try to time block. That helps a lot. But to answer that question, each episode, I bet you easily eats up 90 minutes if it is 40 minutes of actual recording time. Like just in the setup.
And if you think about it, that's 20% of your working career.
100%.
Like if it's a 5-day work week, 20% is creating content.
Right.
How much time do you spend creating content?
A lot.
Yeah.
I think at all times I either have my phone in my hand or my DJI in my hand, just trying to film everything I can all day. So even if I'm in a meeting or I'm doing something, like the camera's set up, I'm trying to get any content that I can in hopes that I can use it for something. But I have 2 days a week that are specifically blocked out just for filming, whether that's social media or the build show content or YouTube content.
So that's 20%, 40%. I'm probably...
But if you spread that out over a 120-hour week, it actually gets smaller.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very
that's
true.
We're not working 80 or
I think it's just math.
I
Think
reckon
about it.
I'd be at least half a day now, Louis. Like if you averaged it out over the week, at least half a day to a full day every week, while trying to still run a company while doing that, and it just makes your day extended. The email checking goes on all night, and then you wake up and and you're still running around. What about you, big dog?
Yeah. Thanks. No, I would say probably half a day a week, just because everybody loves YouTube. I have tried going into YouTube a little bit. We've got a few subscribers, nothing like any of these folks. But the reality is
I don't have many.
I simply don't have the time to gather the content, put it together in a format that is more than just like raw footage, post to the internet, which you can do, but not always terrific. Like I really want to get into YouTube. It's just for where I'm at, I'm over capacity to do that.
So
a big commitment.
I've never done a minute on YouTube or anything. So Louis does all of the YouTube. I have not looked at a comment, the amount of likes, the amount of the I couldn't tell you how many subscribers.
Louis needs a raise.
What a dick. Hey, what about you, Sean? You play around a little bit on the edges, and you sometimes ramp up, and I see videos of yours coming out and out and out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because you're snowed under and you've just got 3 meters of snow and there's no satellite signal anymore where you are. But
Yeah, we only get intermittent internet connections because below minus 30, there's no internet anymore. Just no. No, I think a lot of my it comes on if I have a cool job that I think is interesting, then I just post, a whole bunch of stuff. And then for 2 weeks, I feel like we're just doing boring jobs. I could go back and probably rehash some of the stuff that we've done before and post it. But I feel like I'm here to take some notes on this whole, the professionals over here. With
You've been doing it a long
content,
time too.
The content creators over here. So.
You know what, though? I feel like we all kind of get in a little bit of a funk where we feel like this house isn't that cool. I don't need to post something about this. But we forget about everybody who's watching and what we might not think is cool. Right. There are so many other people out there that would love that. So I think
they're vested. They're vested in your project.
Yeah.
They want to see the success of your project. And it's I understand.
My wife's always telling me, like, just put it up. Like, you don't think it's interesting, but and it's true because the things I just throw up, I'm like, this is not going to get anything. Those are like the ones that get all this crazy attention. And then the ones I think, like, this is the most incredible thing. I was like,
no one gives a fuck.
4 likes.
Couldn't care. 4 watches, 4 likes.
Yeah.
But we kind of have to get over that, right? Like, we all kind of look at it and think, like, this isn't my most expensive project or my coolest project, but it is still good content. And I think for me, that's kind of what changed my outlook on things of like, I'm only posting stuff that I think is really cool or projects that are really expensive or really crazy and trying to just post everything because it helps someone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably what I should start doing.
All right. I got questions for everyone.
Jimmy, can I add one thing to that?
Absolutely. I'd love for anyone to add anything at any time. Give it to me.
One thing I will say, and we're talking about, I know we all feel this way, like we're talking about the crazy hours and what it requires and all that. Like, and at the same time, this is most likely what we all wanted, right? And it's like to help people with our content. And so before it sounds like maybe we're complaining or I'm complaining about like the burden it is to make this stuff, like this is what I wanted, right? So I can't 100%. Like, and same with our companies, like all the troubles we have now that I thought would make us like a real contractor, be it like people quitting or accidents or whatever. I thought like we'll be a real contractor when that happens, that kind of stuff. Like the same thing is like when we have this many listeners, like we'll be real content creators then. Like I want to be clear, like that's what I wanted. I'm not bitching. Like we are blessed to get to do what we do. It's crazy. This opportunity right here is nuts to me. Like 6 years ago, I've been like thinking about being in this situation with you guys. Like this is incredible. So like this is awesome. I'm so blessed and happy that this has come to fruition. So
yeah,
I have to agree.
So true.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. I sit back and look at, where I came from, right? Like I rolled in and met a bunch of people in 2018, and since then the world has kind of taken off for me. That was the first real show that I went to where I met other people in the content creation world.
Is that where I met you?
I met Ryan. I met Sean. No, at Dimensions. I don't think
was
you
Dimensions.
Yes,
I think
it was.
Fucking rude.
Yeah.
Rude. I was also there.
That was right after you got lost.
Me and Jimmy were on the bus
desert.
back, and
That is rude.
Yeah, so I met you and Ryan and Tom on the bus.
And Jimmy. You met...
And James.
Better. Yeah, great.
And Double A Ron was there.
Aaron,
Yeah.
Your buddy Mike, we met him.
Yeah.
There was a few people we met that trip. I met Sam and Ryan from Cat that trip.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy the amount of people that I still have good relationships with from that trip alone.
Yeah.
So
we both won a system for the skid steer there.
We won Earthworks Go from Trimble.
Yeah.
I think I'm still the only one that ever has posted a video on that, though, Sean.
I sold mine.
No. That other dude posted it in his skid steer.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. There was one. I'm sure there was.
Oh no.
He's kept track.
Not the other dude.
Yeah, the other dude. The
other guy that won.
Yeah.
Not the other one.
Yeah, that's a personal inside joke.
Yes.
But,
By the way, I want to thank all the behind the scenes people for
Definitely
putting it all together here, and they're doing a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's a long way to come from Australia as well, and everything else. And then it's been a bit of a challenge because everyone just sees a video. We've got editors back at home, so this one comes out tomorrow morning. With all of your reels being done, we've been editing overnight because of the time frame difference, and then clipping them all up and everything. So every
works
night,
great.
It's actually working pretty good
Yeah,
at the moment. You know, we're filming other podcasts as well. So yesterday I filmed the CEO of Sani and stuff in the morning, and it was just.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's a bit. But Dane, your first question, because I
Yes,
actually
sir.
want to ask the questions too.
Okay.
What value do you get out of branding your machines? Because let me tell you, you spend more money on branding them than most, and both commercially and within your team.
That's a good question. So within the team, the guys love it. When I don't ever tell the guys what I'm doing. Like we don't have that conversation. We just get gear or we get this because we all wear DC gear except for me today because of
Please tell us
items.
why.
I didn't plan. I didn't know how to get here, and I hiked a long way across town in the hot weather. But thankfully, I got this sweet shirt today, so we're good.
He was going to go on
Anyways.
shirtless. Is what he was going to do.
Well. No, I think as far as the job sites go, though, like I just went and met with a guy on a potential project, and we got to talking. He had never met me before. He'd never done anything. And so I told him, I said, yeah, well, I'm with DC Excavation. Like, we do this. And he's like, wait, aren't you the one that has all the black machines? And so between the brand recognition, because our logo is pretty recognizable, the red, white, and blue makes it pop. That helps. And then you put that on top of a black machine, and that really helps. So we get some brand recognition from that, and having potential customers see that, it's kind of a cool deal. And then when you're driving around town and you see a job site, you know exactly who's working there. Aaron did a little expose on his worldwide travels he used to do, and he said he drove by some jobs and he couldn't even tell who was doing any job. And like that's kind of, it's still a problem.
You remember
still,
he said that he's driving down the interstate and these guys have tens of millions of dollars worth of gear
Yeah.
and they don't even have their name on it.
yeah.
You know, you couldn't even look up who was doing the job. If you wanted like a labouring position,
Yeah.
you couldn't even tell who it was on the side of the road. And these guys are most likely screaming for labourers on,
Yeah.
you know, on,
And they're
on
not
a
promoting
job
it.
agency, and they don't even have a sticker with their name on it.
No. So that's kind of what we try to avoid. I know you do the same thing. We
Yes.
see trucks that say Starbuck all over.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're in the headlines, sometimes they're not.
I have
Sometimes it's
I
the
have
internet.
been on the news once or thrice with a Starbucks
This
truck.
week. Oh, you didn't see that? Sorry, breaking news.
This is what happens when you have friends on podcasts. They bring up things that you don't really want to know. But you've also branded a lot of your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like you spend money on stickers.
Yeah, we do the machine wraps and everything, and same thing. It's
Almost
like,
a full machine wrap is starting to
Beautiful.
yeah,
it's starting
it's
to
getting
get-
there. Yeah, well, we did look at painting them, but then when it comes to resale, like I can just pull the wrap off and it's back. It's actually protected the paint, so it's just fresh, original paint. So, and same thing, branding. Like people just they recognize the machines. They they know who Shamrock is. They might not even know who I am, but they recognize the equipment.
But you're spending a lot of money. Like how much is wrapping a machine? Like, give us you don't have to tell us exactly.
Yeah, 2,500, $5,000 up to
$5,000,
kind of that
somewhere
range.
Are those Canadian pesos?
Yeah. So that's
okay.
like 15
So
bucks
like
American.
$12.
Yeah, 12 to 15 American. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So, but do you see value in doing it?
I think so. Like people just know, they see the machines and they just know who that is and what kind of what
Spent a
they're all about.
shitload of money painting some gear pink. But that was for, like, I've got pink trucks and I've got pink diggers now and I've got quite a few of them. But that's mainly for my kids. I've got two little girls. If I can make them more interested in looking at photos of machines and stuff like that, and or trucks, they get super excited when they see a pink truck. Like, they absolutely love it because they're the only ones on the road. And so I suppose I see some value, but it's really difficult to understand how much value you're getting from it. Because could you tell me that you've repaid more than black dozers, graders, eagles on the back of a What's that, a 310?
How about the Eagle?
Eagle's not bad.
America's 250 years coming up.
Hell
We
yeah.
won some hockey games, Sean.
Yeah. I did see that.
But
I did see that too.
anyways, no.
Wait,
You know what? I don't know.
I'm Australian, so we play real man sports. So what's hockey?
Yeah.
Like, is that the one you run around a field?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You won it against.
There's a net across the middle, and you hit the ball across it. Yeah.
Over it, up and over, yeah.
Yeah. No, I would say there's not a way to quantify if it's repaid. But at the end of the day, I don't really care because I like it. And so you post anything on the internet, and anybody that has posted anything on the internet has had people offer their opinion.
Oh, you don't say.
There's lots of opinions about black machines. And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter what those people are saying because I like it. And so they don't have to enjoy it. So it's, for me, a lot of people really like it. There's a obnoxious little few that really don't like it. And it doesn't matter because they don't have to run them. They don't have to clean them. They don't have to do anything with them. They don't even pay for them.
The guys who are like, oh, you hide the cracks. You can't see the cracks on the machines and stuff.
Yeah.
I have a hot take on that, if I may.
Ooh, yeah, please give it.
The reason I know it matters is because if it didn't, the brands wouldn't spend money putting their own names on there. And so the way we look at that is the marketing companies, and it's been nice knowing you all, but I'm dead probably now after this, but the manufacturers spend $1 bajillion, and it's a real number.
That's metric or American bajillion?
That'd be an American bajillion. Bald eagles. I measure everything in bald eagles for sure. So
Big dollars.
but I mean, their marketing departments and all that spend a ton of money on where those decals go on machinery. And so if they're not paying us to advertise for them, we look at it as we should be advertising for ourselves. And for the reasons you're all stating, like, I think it's great for our branding is really simple on our machines. It's our script logo, and that's about it. But I really do believe, it's like I said, it's hard to quantify, but I really do believe that, like, it's good for, morale in the team. Other jobs seeing like, oh, that's the guys with tilt rotators on their machines. And, I think it just gives us a second look. And especially, we're the black sheep in the industry of landscapers. We have such a negative connotation of what landscapers are. We're not, in our world, we're not just planting flowers and all that kind of stuff. So I think it helps legitimize us some too. But that's the way we look at branding on our company is those stickers are there for a reason, and it should be ours.
Do you do it on the trucks and not everything that you drive around? Like, there is not a thing that you have?
I wish if I could rip off the manufacturer's badges and stuff on my trucks. Yeah, our little dump trucks, you call them tippers, I think. It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Dump truck, we got, just little 1-ton dump trucks running around, but we did debadge them all and just have a script Auman logo on the side. It doesn't say anything other than just script Auman, or like our script logo, and that's it. And that's the way we look at it, right or wrong. But I will tell you too, when we were in Bozeman, we were going to West Yellowstone to do snowmobiling stuff, and like Dane's like, see my stuff out there? And like, as soon as I look out in the airport, they're doing an airport job, and I'm like, yeah, there's Dane's stuff out there. And like, and I mean, I knew it was their stuff.
Eagle. I got a picture of the eagle.
Yeah, so it's I believe in it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, so I've just bought some trucks before I came over here, some second-hand ones, and I was talking to the office, and I'm like, yeah, you can de-sticker them. Who owned them before? And they're like, yeah. So in a week, you're going to crack the shits and pull the trucks off of the road, and then get them de-stickered. So we'll just organise for it to happen this weekend, because eventually I'll be paying for other for trucks to go to work, and then I'll look at them and they're like, hey, that's not my name on that. So
Did you just buy another some asphalt?
yeah,
company?
that's them.
Yeah,
And that's them. So we just settled on that a couple of weeks ago.
congrats.
Who knows anything about live bottom trailers? Because I tell you what, I don't.
Not a thing.
Nah.
You're about to learn.
I'm learning real fast, let me tell you. Asphalt trucking is a different sort of trucking. I thought it would all be the same.
No.
However, expanding into new markets is so easy. So I'm just
So easy and cheap.
Yeah.
ridiculously
Don't
cheap.
forget cheap.
So Caleb,
Sir,
back to you. How do you have a successful life, wife, and 2 businesses under one roof, and run social media? Because that's what I wanted to ask you, because you are a busy man.
yeah. And so the question is, how do we do that? over the years, it's been a lot. Yeah, it's a lot, and you all know. And I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know already. Even if you're running one company, we already know, right? That's an 80-hour easy week. 80 hours are easily guaranteed to be 80 hours. That is not 80 hours that are easy. What we've learned is like when it comes to social media stuff and delegation is huge, right? And so we brought on an editor, a kid from our local. I say kid now; he's been with us long enough, not a kid anymore, but. A kid that does our editing as far as YouTube stuff. So I record content, shuffle it off to him, and that's done, right? So that's one way that helps us leverage time, right? We have a virtual assistant, and Dane, yeah, you can do that, man. You just walk out with your GoPro or whatever, and then you just turn this into something and let them go. So there you go. You got a YouTube channel. Congrats.
Do you use editors?
No.
I do.
I am the editor, so sorry to everybody.
It's just a time leverage thing. We would never get content out if I didn't get it to somebody to produce it. So we do that with that. And then with the family thing is really hard. I think most everybody, if not everybody, understands that. So how do we do it, man? I don't know. It's an integrated life, as a mentor of ours calls it. You know, we have kids involved with some company trips that, require stuff like that. It's just delegating and saying no is getting easier and more important to us now too, right? Saying, yes to the right opportunities. So, and it's still there's still times where I neglect my wife and I neglect my company, and one yes to something is potentially a neglect of another, right? And so my children at home right now, the idea is we all talk about what our family mission is and our family purpose. And so the kids know we're on these trips. This is building the family foundation of where we want to go as a family in the future. So that helps justify it, and the kids helps them, I think, understand. So it's very purpose driven. And that makes it sound really easy, I guess. It's still not. My daughter's 12. I don't know. I don't know where that time went, right? So it's still slipping through my fingers. Long story short, dude, I don't know. It's not easy, and it's still not perfect, and it's rough and messy. And my wife and I own the company. My wife owns the company technically, but we have some gnarly fights over where the company's going in direction and stuff.
You don't say.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine such a thing?
Yeah.
But dude, we have coaches. We have a marriage coach. Somebody helps us through it. Yeah, it's not easy, man. And that's one thing I really try in our content. And the reason I try to be so open about this of it's not easy, and people see what we do, and they're like. And I see Dan. I'm like, man, we don't have, we don't have airport contracts and tracks with dump trucks or tippers or whatever. And it's like, man, we freaking suck, And it's like,
you don't want tippers. No. Just so you know, tippers are out.
Okay, that's not a cool thing. What do we call them now?
No. Tippers is, you're calling them fine, but you don't want them. Trucks are the thing that break your heart.
Well, it's and so I kind of get caught up in that, and it's like, that's one thing I never want anybody seeing our content or us is man, that they're making it look easy. It's like, no, man, it's so hard. We have people that reach out to us, and you that reach out to us and hey, I'm thinking about my wife. I want my wife to quit her great paying job so she can join us at the company. We like what you and Britt do. It's pump the brakes, man. I never want it to look like this is easy. So all that being said, man, it's as we're working as hard as anybody else, but we've gotten big on hiring coaches. Again, a marriage coach helps us navigate monthly, me being an idiot to her, or heaven forbid she
has maybe once been wrong ever.
Maybe one time.
Maybe once. Okay.
And I can't recall it. But so long, as I labor to try to answer that, man, I don't know. We're just working on getting better about appreciating what time we have, and whoever we can hire and whatever we can do to maximize and leverage our personal time and our work time. That's the big drive right now. So,
perfect. What does everyone else think of that?
I just want to jump on and say saying no is one of the best things you can ever do, because no deal is way better than a bad deal.
Agreed. I think that's one thing we've worked on a lot lately is saying no. We have a really hard time as small business owners because business comes in the door and we know we have so many families to feed and so many people that are relying on us. But I think after you've gone through enough really bad jobs to realize it's better to not have it than have to suffer through that or have your team suffer through that. Saying no is tough, but absolutely one of the best things you can do.
I've never said no up until last year. So like I just was always saying yes, and then I finally cracked the shits at one people's job specifically, and I said, "Nah."
Is it really possible? Like, imagine starting a company again from scratch and not knowing this. Is it really possible? I mean, I feel like it's easy to say now when I don't want to speak for anyone else, but it's easier as your company gets more established. It's easier to start saying no.
Yeah, I mean,
is it just a reality of like you are the yes man for years?
I'm year 19. I just said I learned to say no to one guy once last year.
Fair enough.
But I think there's definitely a threshold, right? There's definitely a threshold to where you have to start setting your boundaries. Because like when I started with one skid steer. And so I moved scraper piles with my skid steer. I dug a house with a skid steer. But the reality is like you have to do what you have to do. But there definitely comes a point, like you're saying, where you don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have to focus on other stuff. Like we have people that want us to come and run minis and little skid steers and do that. Well, we have a 40-ton, 50-ton excavator sitting there. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. These are now our support tools, not our main tools. And we have to go and focus on that. So, I mean, saying no was a great part of what he said.
Is it easier to say no, though, if the market is up than if the market is down?
Yeah, but at the same time, you still have to hold your value.
Oh,
you still have to own your own value.
But if there's no bread to eat, like if you can't eat any bread, then you're saying yes again to everything that comes through the door, because the values and everything are great while there's jobs. While there's still the yes jobs coming in. But then if there's no jobs coming in, we're all back to being yes people regardless.
There's definitely still going to be jobs come to you. You will have to say no to in the downtimes too.
I agree.
Because there are a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of really wealthy developers, especially in our area, that still want everything for nothing. And, it's slower up there right now, but they still want everything for nothing. And we're bidding against people that are taking jobs for less than cost.
Yeah.
We're pretty tight on our numbers. We know where our numbers are at. And our costs, like they're taking the work for less than cost. You can't eat that.
No job is worth paying to do it.
No, not at all.
Not.
And you have to still understand and realize your value too. We have to be able to support our team and our employees and everyone that works for us and their families. But we also don't need to take jobs that we're getting abused or pay to go to work.
Yeah, I say to people that I like watching motorcycle racing, and if I'm going to go broke, I'll go broke at home watching motorbikes. I don't have to drive around the city, flying into every job, all of the trucks, the problems, the difficulties of all of that. I'll just watch motorbikes and go broke.
Yeah. I think going back to the the time management thing, I don't think I realized how bad I was at until I had kids.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, you have to try to find the time to spend with the kids. Like I was working 6-7 days a week, like 12, 14 hours a day. Then you have kids and you're like, okay, well, now I want to be home for dinner. I want to see the kids in the morning before.
100%. That's what ended up happening to me as well, because I people say, oh, how did you build your company and everything? And I'm like, I lived at home with my mum and dad and no kids. I had to pay some rent. They made me pay some rent to park my shit there, but all I had to do was work. It was either my friends or go to work, and so I just went to work. And I made money for a long time, and I didn't have my first daughter until I was like in my late 20s. I've been running almost 10 years then. Yeah. You to start up now and have kids and everything else, and I had no mortgage, so it didn't really matter if I didn't make as much money, because if I had money, then it was okay. And
well, and your priorities change when you have a family too, right?
Yeah.
Like everything changes. The time allocation, and all of a sudden your work, what you're building takes a backseat because your child becomes the most important thing in your life.
Well, what do they say? They say that you have a 4-burner gas stove and you only have enough gas to run 3 burners, and you have 1 burner that's family, 1 that's work, 1 that's health, and then 1 that's... Oh, no, something else, because those are my 3 burners that are
That's all he's got on at the moment.
Yeah, that's someone will tell me that there's a 4th one, but there's, that's what they say. There's only enough gas for 3.
We use the 4th one to heat the house because it's so cold.
No, that's only in Canada.
It's
Yesterday
true.
I actually learned that machines can stick to the ground
They can, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
my mind was blown.
If you don't shovel your tracks,
Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's
these guys
bad.
are like, oh, you have to shovel them at the end of the day. And I'm like, what, every day? Surely not. And they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
in
yeah.
the winter,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and on skid steers, even if you shovel the tracks, you have to
Yep.
get behind the sprocket.
If
because
it's
the
cold
mud,
enough, you have to shovel them at
freeze.
lunch.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
It'll freeze,
It'll freeze
so hard.
We live in the Great White
Yeah,
North.
so that's a
Yeah.
Montana
It's the Great
and
White
Canada
North.
thing.
Yeah.
Ohio didn't get that bad.
We've had like a rotary hammer for like an hour hammering out the tracks just to get the thing to move.
Or you tent it with concrete blankets and put some big lizard heaters in there
Yeah.
and just blow it full of heat and hope it melts out.
Yeah.
When I came to see you, it was cold.
It was cold.
And like you're rolling out those frost blankets, and they're so dumb.
Oh,
like
yeah.
for
Concrete
someone
blankets?
who is,
Oh, yeah. And ground heaters.
and for someone who's never had that, like you couldn't even buy that in Melbourne if you needed to. and then it like I've even dug at the ski resorts that we have. The ski resorts don't even have frost because the worst it gets is like -5 or -7. Nothing.
Nice.
You know, Celsius,
That's what?
15.
Yeah.
Or
It's
20.
not
Concrete
even
blankets
zero.
are-
It's not even zero.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Just
like
below
you,
zero.
you couldn't
You
even.
have to speak in layman's terms here. We're in America.
Oh yeah,
Fahrenheit.
but to think that you would have to, at the end of the day, roll blankets out with heaters in them to keep the ground
From freezing.
from freezing, thawed. The word
Yeah.
thawed.
Yeah, especially
Keep it thawed.
yeah.
That's so dumb. Do you deal a lot with that sort of stuff in the building, or do you not build
Yeah.
in the ground in winter?
We do a lot. Yeah, we do a lot. So oftentimes, like if we hire the excavator to come out and dig a hole, even if they're not done at the end of the day, we're taking concrete
Oh, yeah.
blankets, filling the hole with concrete blankets to make sure it doesn't freeze overnight. Or maybe it snows overnight, and then, the first hour or 2 hours of the day, the excavator's out there lifting the blankets up with the machine to get them out before they can start working again.
It's not a money making proposition, Jim.
No, it's not. It's hours of time that you're spending
miserable.
to just like get to a point where you can work.
I remember I tried to move them there, and they're really heavy and everything as well. And
Awkward. They take up a ton of room when you're
Yep.
trying to store them and keep them,
you
and
have to rent them.
you can.
People can,
You
but
can.
it's usually like $5 a day. And you don't think that's that much money. But when you have 20 of them and then you have them for 3-4 weeks, it adds up pretty fast.
It ends up being cheaper for you to just buy them
Yeah.
and own them, but then we have to figure out where the hell do we store these because they're taking up
Yeah. A
so
lot of people
much
just
space.
dedicate a trailer to them.
I have a shipping container.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So they
Oh, wait,
just,
you have the blankets for yourself.
because we have
because
to
if
use
she
them.
doesn't, we're charging her to do it.
Yeah, so we own them.
What? They're a chargeable item.
Oh, yeah.
Our ground is
Oh,
freezing
yeah.
now, and I'm rolling out concrete
Jimmy's ready.
blankets.
Yeah. No, it's on the cost breakdown. We charge
Yeah.
for them. So not only during excavation to make sure the dirt doesn't freeze, but also after they're done digging the hole, I'm filling it with blankets until I pour my footings or the basement slab or the exterior concrete. Like we're using concrete blankets, and even when we pour the basement slab or the footings, once they're poured, we're covering all that up with the blankets again. So I'll use them for months, like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it just sounds like stupid. Move to a warmer climate, guys. Like if you go outside for 5 minutes and you die if you don't have clothes on, we're not meant to live there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not a snow person.
Oh, I've seen some of your stuff, like when you had a diesel motor gel or something
Oh,
in
that
the
was
middle
terrible.
of the
It
night.
was like
Nightmare.
-40. We were dewatering. It was a terrible idea. So -40 and -42 are about the same in Celsius and
40,
Fahrenheit.
40 is the same,
So
so-
it's extra cold.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen it. We pulled the fuel filter out, and you could scrape the gel. It was like a wax.
It
It
is
was like a
wax.
soft. It was like
Yeah.
a soft wax. You could scrape it off the fuel filter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't flow super great at that point. But yeah, it was miserable.
But see, like it's just a no. It's just no. Like that to me sounds so fucking dumb. Like because I can't remember if we were talking about it or I was watching it happen and I'm texting you and saying that's dumb.
Yeah.
But you were out in the middle of the night with a head torch in like it's snowing and you're freezing and you're getting back in your truck for 5 minutes to warm your hands up, stinking of diesel because it's just gelled and that just.
So it was over Christmas break. And we usually pay the guys a week off for Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, because you can't get anything done during that time anyways. But when you're dewatering, you don't just shut it off. It has to go. It has to stay running. So you have to go check them over Christmas. I've filled up ground heaters on Thanksgiving Day. I've filled up ground heaters on Christmas Day. It's just part of owning a business. The "it must be nice" crowd.
No. We describe it as lucky.
Yes,
You're
lucky.
so lucky.
Oh, that's so lucky.
Yeah. You're so lucky that you've got what you got.
You can move to Australia and shovel poisonous snakes out of your trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Right, yeah.
spiders
Or get in a
or-
fight with a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Well, I have actually seen a few videos of that, but I want to say this. I've been saying this all week, right? If there was a guy, we'll call him Steve Irwin, who made a series in America about poisonous, dangerous animals, he would film a brown bear here, and then he would film a rattlesnake in Colorado, and then he'd film a poisonous something else somewhere, and then an Australian would look at it and go, "Fuck, America is full of dangerous animals." You know how many
Yes,
snakes
very
I've
true.
seen? Like in my whole life, 10 or 20. That's it. And I've worked outside for 20 years. There are no snakes. There are some spiders.
Yeah, there are. I've
But
seen 'em.
it's not like there's snakes everywhere. It's just that you've grown up thinking that Australia, Steve Irwin, is full of these creatures.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, I don't ever change my mind, actually. Yeah.
I'm convinced.
A question I've got here: do you find clients from social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Do I have it like everyone here says yes?
I think
It's growing for us.
it's changing a little bit for us now that we're kind of growing out of the higher end residential space and more commercial, federal, because that's not. I mean, they're all solicitations.
Right.
You have to. It's a bid solicitation. You can't. They can't just go select somebody. When you start playing with state and federal money, there's all sorts of rules around it. It's not like, hey, I see what you do. I see your quality. I like what you guys bring to the table. Let's negotiate this. They can't do that.
Not until you become a senator or a congressman or something. So,
Exactly. Maybe that's our next steps. Maybe we should just run for Congress.
there you go.
We don't even have
Cotton
to be
for
right
Congress,
Yeah.
2029.
then. Yeah. But no, I think for us it's kind of changed. We used to get probably a lot more from social media than we do now, but it still helps. And there's still that brand recognition we talked about.
I have more clients right now that have come from either social media or seeing my content on YouTube, like the Build Show Network. And all of our business has primarily been word of mouth ever since the company was opened in the 80s. And we've never really put money into marketing. Like the only thing really marketing related that we've ever done is my social media. And it's just been, some weird thing that I chased. But currently, we have more clients that came to us from that than word of mouth. And they're multi-million-dollar luxury builds, not, these aren't starter homes. So we've noticed a huge difference in it. And it didn't happen overnight. It took years and years and years of posting and not seeing anything or not seeing any benefit to it until all of a sudden now you can actually see this person came from that. This is why it was worth my time or why it was valuable for me to do it. But you spend a lot of time doing it without seeing results,
Years without seeing results. What's it like in the Ohio market? Do they watch the socials and come through?
We've seen two ends of that, and I used to not want my clients to see our social media content because I was more contractor focused and sharing like nerdy horticultural stuff and then even talking about like, and again trying to not make
horticultural stuff.
Oh, dude,
You don't say.
I can talk nerdy hort stuff all day, man. Yeah, we get into some of that.
Did you just call it hort as well? Like
Hort,
you shot this
hort,
out?
yeah.
Like
We can get nasty here. The getting some Latin and all that names and plants. So but it's stuff like that, and this is a very niche audience there, right? But we were talking about that, but also it's like always my goal has been for like our viewers to never think that what we're doing and like again must be nice or lucky crowd or whatever, like and again, people reach out to us. I'm thinking about quitting my 6-figure lineman job to start a mowing company or some craziness, you know. And it's like, I don't want this to look easy.
Can you scratch the mowing itch just on the weekend, maybe?
Yeah, right. Like, come on, man.
do it as a hobby.
Well, and so it was like that, but it was, and so then I'm understanding stuff like, guys, I've been broke, I've been bankrupt, like we've been in the worst position financially, and like behind on taxes, like all this crazy crap. And like I don't want my clients hearing that, right? And then it's still crazy. So then the next phase, I'm like, I never want my clients to see that. Well, what we started seeing for a little while was we were having clients recommended to us by their kids that were watching like locally. I'm like, gosh, people are like hearing me say I've been bankrupt. Like, what the hell? Back in like 2008 now. But it's like, yeah, I don't want that out locally. Like, really, as a business owner, who's going to hire us? No, I'm a fucking idiot. When it comes to running my first company, right? Like, that's not good. But no, like what people like appreciate that the rawness or whatever. And so then that changes, and now we're actually starting to push back the other direction of like encouraging clients that, again, for residential design build, of like actually go check out our YouTube if you don't kind of understand our pricing and stuff like that, because we're about telling the story, right? We're all trying to tell a story here. And so it's like maybe our YouTube channel help you understand why we charge $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever for design, and like you'll kind of see and understand our story more. So we're pushing our clients more there, and I never thought I would do that. So we are seeing that shift of clients being recommended by their kids that were watching us, and folks we went to high school with. We're a small rural area, so but we are seeing that shift, and then again, it help with legitimacy as well for us.
Because that's interesting. You're not how far out of, did you say, Calgary are you?
We're like right on the edge of Calgary, so
that's a busy market then. So do you get a lot from socials?
Yeah, and like just listening to your last point there, like people probably appreciate your like honesty and transparency. They might see it as like, this guy's got character. He's not trying to be the used car salesman kind of thing. So could
Slick.
Yeah, he's not some greasy guy. He's like just being honest. So I think what we get is, so part of the business is like the rock retaining walls. So that's kind of like a bit of a niche market. And I think just from posting those for so long, we just kind of get some traffic there and referrals just based on what people have seen online. So the excavation stuff, I find we maybe get more from, like, we're a very small company, so the reach you get from social media is incredible. Like, I never imagined that you could have just a couple machines and, people, in the States would know you, and like just from seeing you online. A guy from Australia has you on his podcast.
Right.
Like that's, if you told me that 20 years ago, I'd be like, yes. That's not happening to me.
Podcast?
Yeah, what's a podcast?
You're going to go to a hotel room with a guy you met on the internet with cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and he's going to film you, and he's going to have studio lights, and he's going to put his microphone up to your chin.
yeah. I would have been like, yeah, that's not happening. But I think so. We get more and more of it, and I think it kind of just snowballs, really.
Yeah, I've seen. I'm probably similar to you. I still get, but because of how some of the jobs have built up, but then because of the trucking company can still have the sort of grassroots stuff, that's able to still keep trucking along.
Yeah.
But do you find workers from it?
That's the next name of your trucking business. Trucking along.
You got to have Starbuck.
When you're done with coffee, you can do that.
I tell you what, like looking back, I should have made my business name something like great, like I've named the new company Earth Lodge. Instead of Starbuck. Like, why would you have Starbuck? Like, out of everything. Or you thought real hard about DC excavation.
That was a tough decision. That was one bad day at work, and I'm like, well, we're doing this.
What are my initials?
Yes. Yeah,
Actually, we all have names like that, pretty much. No, you don't.
No.
Where's Shamrock?
Just that we
look at him. He's Irish.
Show
him the red hair. Show him
we
the
have
red
some
hair.
Irish heritage.
Yeah.
So like my grandparents Irish. So and then the rock work, it just seemed to like
Oh, it just makes sense.
It just seemed to work. So
And what's actually your business's name?
Stephen Dailey Construction. My
Fuck,
dad's
we are
name.
geniuses. We are. Like, let me tell you, we are that clever.
You know, I was thinking about that the other day because I'm looking at pursuing maybe another venture, and it was interesting because I started thinking about these people in the space that I kind of want to be in the realm with. Every single one of them is a family name.
Yeah. So the asphalt trucking, Starbuck
There's-
asphalt. Yep. Clever.
Original.
What is it?
Original.
Starbuck
Starbuck?
asphalt.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but are they really all family names? Like,
Yeah,
most
for the
of them?
most part, like around where we're at, all of the big names. The airport project is a family name. Yeah. You know, there's a bunch of other big industry deals, all family names.
Because in Australia, it's not as much like that, eh?
Really?
They all have like fancy names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Southern Utah, there's a whole group of the guys we were just down by. They all have these exquisite names. Like,
Yeah, with a really fancy logo.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like I made my logo on paint in 2006.
we can tell.
Can you? I actually couldn't use paint well enough, so I went to my friend's house and we both did paint in his house before we went out for dinner. And I'm like, it doesn't quite line up. And now the girls in my office, like they all have arguments that this letter here touches and that one doesn't touch and this one's connected.
it's
and
great,
those
man.
ones
Looks
aren't
great.
connected and blah blah. Because look, why would you have some not? Anyway.
Yeah, but it's iconic, right? That's your brand now.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
the
there.
brand now.
People
Like-
know that,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's a brand. People
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, we've had multiple arguments as people have stretched the logo and changed it and done on, and like I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like if it says Starbuck on it, I'm good. Like
Because all we got to do is get the money.
the first part is getting the money.
Yeah.
You know, I actually have two questions for you today.
All right.
What's job site codes?
Okay.
That's your first one.
All right.
And then the next one. If you could answer that while I get this piece of paper and find your name, that would be fantastic.
You got it. So, Job Site Codes is a software for builders, interior designers. I struggled really hard as a small family builder. We're a small company. We have, a handful of employees. We're not running this big, 100-employee business where, to me, it made sense for these companies who are spending thousands of dollars a month on a software to help their company. I just couldn't justify that. It didn't make sense to me, and the majority of what these companies were offering, I really had no interest in using. I didn't want to use their invoicing software or, their bidding software. I have my own way of doing bidding, and but I was really struggling, especially during COVID when touching other people's paper was a no-no. I was really struggling to find a way to get all of my trades on the job site the information they needed to be able to do their job in a way that they felt like it was easy to get. They didn't have to log into something. It wasn't complicated. And so ran through probably $40,000 worth of software in a matter of months and just realized none of this is working.
Yeah, they're all shit.
They all suck.
Yeah.
They just want my money. They don't care about me and my little company. They care about the big companies with 500 employees or whatever. So I was just struggling with that. My partner is from a technology background, and I came home from work one day. I had I put all of our job site plans and specs into Google Drive, and then went to createaqrcode.com and dropped the link in there and made my own QR code and laminated it and stapled it up on the job site. And I posted something on social media about it, and it got 30 million views in a matter of days.
Only.
Yeah, during COVID.
I don't think I have 30
I remember
million
my
views
first post. Whatever.
combined. Yeah, in all of my days.
Yeah.
It was just really weird. It was during COVID. QR codes were hot. Everyone was using them, from a restaurant to a job site. And it just made sense to me. No one has to touch someone's plans. You can use your own phone. You can scan a QR code. We all knew how to use it. We all understood a QR code. So the post got, 5 million at first, then 10, and then 15 and 20. And I come home one day and just said, Steve, do you know how to develop a software? Because I think something's missing and I think I have an idea. And he told me no for couple weeks. And then finally, by the time it hit that 20 million, he was like, all right, let's look at it. So we ended up taking like 200 other builders in our area and just putting together this little beta group and saying, like, if you had the ultimate software to work for your small business, what would it do? What would it be? How much would it cost? Like, so we just built this software based off of other builders, what they wanted. So it was built by builders for builders. And the idea was to keep it under $200 a month, give them everything they could want, and really give them the flexibility to tailor it to fit their program or their company and not have to spend thousands of dollars a month. Because
It's ridiculous.
It just doesn't work.
I know some of the big companies that run the charge per user and charge per revenue and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's brutal.
I'll say a guy that I know, but I know him fairly well. A guy I know, their company has like 10,000 employees. They pay $1 million a month for Salesforce.
It's wild.
For their sales software, for the CRM that tracks all of their live data, that tracks all of this and blah, 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 blah. Like, that is fucking insane.
It's big dollars.
And the software's built. Like, it's already built. It's already there in the background. Now, I understand you're going to have some people in the background, and I understand I don't know about clouds and servers and, you know, all of that stuff. I don't get it. However, $1 million a month, but you don't have to build anything, and they're putting in all of the data, and you just have to store it.
Yep.
It sounds like good business if that's one customer. How many customers you got?
Yeah.
Starbuck cloud service.
I'd have to
Your next
understand
business
something about a
venture.
cloud first because
I don't
I
think you do.
understand shit. You know, we had to upgrade our server racks at work. Yep. And our storage somethings.
How'd that go?
Because everyone, I don't know, I got a bill and I had to pay the bill, but everyone works on it in a live environment. And then when the live environment doesn't have enough gigs or RAMs or something, like, and this is part of the challenge of building shut up you. This is part of the challenge of building a bigger business, because as your business grows, like, I was quite good at digging holes, I was quite good at trucking dirt, and then I was quite good at organising people. I'm really at the end of what I'm good at computers and understanding all of that shit. And they come to me and they're like, listen, there's too many people, taking up too much of your
Bandwidth.
Gigahertz. You fucking got. Your bandwidth, and you need to
more.
upgrade and buy this server cabinet that costs $15,000 and everything else, and it just sits there and hums at you all day.
Till it doesn't, and then it's another
Then you got to
15,000.
add another 15 on it.
No, because I did understand something. I want it to be that needs to be able to set on fire, and then we need to be able to flick a switch and get to where we were just before that set on
So
fire.
you have
Yeah.
cloud and hard data.
So you don't lose anything.
Hold on. Yep, we do. We do have it. We have it backed up on a cloud in real time, and we have it backed up.
We know who's really in charge.
Anyone but me with computers. And your second question, that one was a great one. Is it going well?
It's going well. It's a small business. We're self-funded. We haven't taken any like private equity money or investor money. So we're doing the best we can. It's we're competing against the big guys, the companies that have millions of dollars in private equity money, but we're really proud of it. And the people who use it really love it. And so my goal was to just make other builders' lives easier, including my own. And it's doing that. So I'm
Perfect.
happy about it.
Perfect. And your actual question is, what's a building practice you believe should be industry standard right now but still isn't? And what will it take for builders to adopt it at scale?
You know, I think regardless of trade or like which industry in building or creating this home or commercial building or airport you're in, I think there's always room for improvement for all of us. And historically, we've always just built things the way the person before us taught us to build them, or, the way someone said to do it. I think that over the last few years, thanks to social media and YouTube and all the posts from all these amazing people, we're learning how to build better in every way. So from digging the hole to putting in utilities to framing the house to finishing the house, we're understanding like how we can change this and do this better to make it a better finished product for the homeowner. And I do think that it's not fully adopted yet, but I think people are starting to pay more attention to, instead of just doing it as quick and dirty as we can and get in and get out, how can we do it to provide a better product or a better result? And part of that fight or part of that issue is, does the client want to pay for the cheapest bid, or does the client want to pay for the right bid? And so I think what we can do better to adopt like better building practices is continue to do what everybody sitting here is doing, which is promoting the right way to build, a good way to build, talk about the failures, talk about what you did that is good or what you did that was bad or struggles that you had, and really just educate people about like the cheapest bid is not the right answer all the time. The right bid is the one that is built right, the one that's got some thought into it, someone that's actually, you know, dug the hole, looked at the soil, decided if it was good enough soil to build on, or brought in structural fill, or there's just, we need to do a better job of creating a product that's going to last for decades.
Yeah. Do you think new
Centuries.
houses will?
I think we're getting there. I think people thanks to social media and YouTube, people are starting to realize like better building practices, better ways to build these homes. And I think the current trend is everyone's excited and fired up about like, oh, I can post this photo or video of my project that is built with these better products. So I think we're getting there, but it's just education of letting people know. The next step is educating the buyer, the client, the person signing the check about why this is the right answer. Because, you know, I could bid this house at $3 million, but, you know, Dane maybe is builder B and he's going to bid this house $1.5 million.
Fucking asshole.
You're the undercutter.
Piece
Oh
of
man.
piece of
I'm usually
Classic
the
Dane.
Okay, maybe Dane's 10. But, you know, there could be other builders who are bidding against you in a situation where the two of you are quoting something totally different.
Yeah,
And the
it's
final
apples
product.
versus oranges rather than
Yeah.
apples and apples.
Yeah.
Well, and I just had that same exact scenario that you had happen to us.
Yeah.
We got asked to bid a small apartment subdivision. And so this guy is a very shrewd businessman and he's very good at what he does. So I called him and I said, hey, you know, we have a scenario where we can save you $70,000 on import. We can balance your site. The engineer didn't do this, but we can do it. Like, we have the ability to do that with our technology that we invest in. He's like, yeah, but you guys are way more money. And I said, yeah, because we can do this for you, we can save you more in the long run.
Oh, it's the spend and save. It's like when your
100%.
wife goes to the shops.
Yeah,
and
no.
buys
That
something
is a
like-
completely different
it's
story.
the same.
Oh, it's 50% off. Well, you still paid 50%.
But I bought 50%
But
more.
even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Dane, even if I'm minus 70,000, you are still $1 million more.
Yeah,
Did you win?
No, he ended up, which I wasn't shocked about, and I'm okay with it. But I presented a solution.
So then what the guy does is he goes to his other contractor and he's like,
Yeah.
right, you can balance this site.
100%
Hey, here's how you can save
he did that.
70K.
100% he did that. But it's like, I still sleep at night. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
If that's how they want to operate, I'm good.
And then he goes to them and says, but you can balance the site, but I need 100K off.
I've been called to fix projects there before.
Yep.
And maybe again.
Yeah. I mean, I think it happens in every industry,
does.
like every trade, every specialty. I mean, I lost a project about a year ago to another builder who bid it for $1 million less than I did. It's in a community that I'm building in right now. I can see the house from where I'm building another house, and how it's being built is so different than how I would have built it or how I had priced out building
Is
it.
different a kind word?
Different's a kind word.
Okay,
How
we're
about
using
schedule?
kind words.
How about the schedule involved in that?
Schedule also has
Oh,
a
man.
dollar sign
It does,
attached to it that
100%.
most people don't realize.
Yeah.
And what about in Ohio? Is that very similar? Because I do find it can be quite different in regional markets versus, you know, like city markets, or I don't know what it is, rural, urban.
Rural?
Rural versus urban.
Urban?
Yeah. So what's it like where you are?
I would just lump it into the bucket of it's humans being humans, and so we deal with the same stuff, and those are universals we deal with in our world and all your worlds, and I always just try to balance that. And then when I'm the consumer, I try to I try to bounce, like, am I being the kind of client I freaking despise, right? Mm-hmm. And so I always try to weigh that out. But yeah, it's the same stuff we deal with. And
gosh, that's so hard, eh? Because sometimes you go to buy something, and you're like, nah, fuck that. That is way too much. Like, I'm not doing that. And then you're like, I have value.
Yeah.
Do you even value me? I actually asked someone if they we were doing stuff on rates, on a tonnage rate. Yeah. Right, and he always comes to us and he says, listen, down lower. And I said, I want $1 more per ton for the delivery of this. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And I said, well, I won't work for you anymore. I said, because I'm always shopped. I never get $1. I said, I just want one. Yeah. $1. He gave me $1. He gave me $1.
Because he knows what you provide.
Yeah.
Sees your value.
Yeah. It ended up being a fair few tons, so it was okay. The dollar can actually be worth something at the end of it, but it's really hard to get that sometimes.
It is, but it's okay to walk away too, because no deal's better than a bad deal.
Because if they want you to like install some petunias in the corner and like your price per petunia is $5 and theirs is $10, it's real hard to sort of lever out a difference there at some point. Just the same as the rock work, like if your rocks are $100 a lineal and theirs are $50, you go, well, fuck, we're using the same rocks.
Yeah, you almost have to it's the same what you guys have been saying. You have to educate the buyer. You have to show them, okay, this is what we do. This is one I just took a picture of down the road here. Here's what I look at, because when I build a wall, like my standard is way higher than the customer. Like I'll build a section, the next day I'm back taking it apart because I didn't like how a rock fit. It was too close to that, whatever. And they're like, what are you doing? Well, why are you taking it apart? It's like, because I didn't like it. So I'm going to build it.
I would simply hire Shamrock based on the fact that he shows up with a massive blade that goes on his excavator for cutting rocks.
Everyone wants to see the saw.
So cool.
Yeah,
I'm here for the saw.
Yeah, but no one else would have a saw because they would just use the size rocks that rock up.
Yeah. Toss them in how they look.
Like if you build the wall with a dump truck, you can do it in a hurry. So, and we lose a lot of jobs because it's going to take me twice as long because I'm going to try to fit all those rocks. Like all the joints are going to be super tight. And the next guy's just going to pick it up, put it in, the next one, go. And then I go back and I say, well, that's kind of an ankle trap. Kids are going to run on the wall and then they're going to get their legs stuck in there.
And with landscaping, you would have a problem with there is not much of a barrier to entry at some points, in Australia, there's a lot of landscapers that don't even have their license, and then you have the guys like right up to the biggest, landscapers, which take on huge jobs. But it sort of starts off as mowing guys who will end up, fixing up your garden bed to then. So how do you deal with that part?
It's all about the ideal, what we call the ICP, the ideal client profile. And your right client is the right client regardless. The right client, there is a sector of clients that is not going to hire those guys always, right? And they're going to hire the Seans of the world and the Starbucks and build it. Like, you know what I mean? The right client is out there always. And so I don't sweat that. I don't sweat the licensing stuff or any of that. And the right client is out there always for us. And we're okay with saying no to people that are not. Well, half of us are okay with saying that anyways. But shots fired. Shots fired.
No. Wait, which one's the one that wants to say no?
I'm okay with saying no.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's the schedule freak. If there's not jobs on the schedule, she freaks out, and I have faith that the Lord will provide.
Just
we'll have
in case you want to know, the guy
let me get her a
just
mic
learned how to say no last year. Like, if I have availability, you fill them.
Fill it.
Hope your guys' room came with a couch.
Yeah, really, right? No kidding. Well, that's the marriage coach. That's what that's for. Yeah. But so the way I look at that is, again, those clients are going to nickel and dime you to death. So we just, I say we, I use that loosely, but I don't sweat that. It's just, the right client is out there for us, and again, for all of us, if we're willing to hold our standard, hold the line. So that's the way we look at it. And sometimes our schedule does get narrow. Like, last year we had, I think, 2 weeks of backlog for like a month or 6 weeks or something. That's scary. That sucks. And we're a small company. We got six guys in the field plus a designer in the office and overhead and all that. And it's like, Caleb, how brave, how sure of this whole say no thing are you? And it still works out. And especially saying that, like you were saying earlier, in a down economy, man, like that is also scary. But we have to trust that, like, again, I've said there was a summer a few years ago that we said yes to a lot of stuff we shouldn't have, and every one of those jobs, we earned every penny of it. I'll say it that way. And some of them we didn't get our pennies even too. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to talk tough, again, being 20 years deep into business now, right? And I'm saying that for myself. Young Caleb was taking on anything and everything kind of deal too at the same time, way back. So again, that's our philosophy at the moment, and just we're saying no and passing on opportunities that aren't right, and I don't worry about clients that. And again, but it's super important that I communicate the value we're providing, what we bring to the table, and I mean we're the only landscaper, we're the only company in our area that has a total station, for our job layouts and our design work. Like, that's unheard of. Now, clients don't care; they care about delivery of product and communication. That's all they care. They don't care that I've got tilt rotators and all this cool crap. I wish they did, 'cause it'd be way cooler. We could all talk about how cool all this crap is. But like, what they care about is delivery of product, and again, the experience they have. And that's what we're really trying to communicate with the right client for us, is the clients that are interested in a great experience with with their outdoor space.
As we start to get closer to the end, I have one more question to ask one more person, and it has to be around this, because although he claims to deal with cold weather, he actually does.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at how indignant he gets. What the fuck?
I mean, in reality, we're only about a 7-hour drive.
We're not that far
We're
apart.
not too
He's
far.
7 hours further north, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times, like, we'll be colder than they will, and then it'll switch. Like, it goes back and forth.
It's not a fight. It's not a fight.
Oh, well,
It's a competition.
I mean,
Yeah.
When you get to the
I
border,
just don't want you to tell people that Montana's a nice place to live in the winter, because it is not.
You won the hockey. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna hold on.
when you get to the border, it
We're
drops,
gonna ride that for a while.
it drops at least 5 bald eagles in temperature.
yeah.
Dealing with such extreme weather and only being able to work 9 months at best.
Yeah.
Like, that's what not so much about the winter, but how do you only work 9 months and make any money? I can't make any money in 12 months sometimes, and you only get to work 9.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we first started out, we just had smaller equipment, and this is the thing with the landscapers. Snow clearing is the thing you do in the winter. So, if you have a skid steer, you snow clear, but snow clearing is a racket. Like, you're taking your stuff out in the worst conditions. It's you're either on per
People
push
don't like
or
to
hourly.
pay for snow plowing.
Yeah, no one wants
either.
to pay for it, but they want
What?
great.
They don't like
a
to
great
pay
job.
for it because it melts.
Eventually.
Yeah. There's
So they
lots of
don't wanna pay for it.
liability, insurance goes
that's
up,
terrible.
all that stuff.
Honestly,
So
it's just another
It's a
world,
racket.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just another world.
yeah, so I would say, like, the employees, nobody wants to work when it's minus 20 and there's ice everywhere. Like,
I was
so
talking to a guy the other day. He had he had a huge crew that he had to dig out between the cars for his contract in the car park, that they didn't want. I don't know what it was, but they didn't want the snow in between the cars. So he had these crews of guys going around and digging out the snow in between the cars, between the plows, and
yeah,
fuck,
It's
what
terrible.
a shit job, hey?
yeah,
And then they don't want to pay.
yeah.
I mean, there's some people that are upstanding and they will pay you for your work, but then there's some people that are like, oh,
But isn't that just
Well-
like anything, though? Like what Caleb
Yeah.
was saying, isn't that just like anything? There's people who want to pay and don't want to pay. Yeah, still guys will win $1 million, go in $1 million cheaper, and say, even though I'm living here for the rest of my life, I won't spend that money to get a good, great build.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then, so there's the
so
answer is snowplows.
Well, that's a lot of people do that. I got out of that years ago because it was once you start So really, we probably go down to like 50% of what we would do in the summer because all the surface work kind of goes away. But you can still dig basements and stuff. Like the top, anywhere from like 3 to 6, 7 feet could be frozen. And like if you've ever tried to dig frozen ground, like you either need to ground thaw it with like glycol heaters and going back to the footings and everything. Like our builders run PEX lines, they pour it right into the concrete, and then you have a trailer that sits there and either runs on diesel or natural gas.
smart.
Burns
To cure it.
to heat the glycol and a circulation pump, and it runs.
I like this.
Yeah, we have a ground thaw trailer. There's huge hose reel in the back
Just
that you
keeps it
just
all thawed.
you just cover them up with blankets, and we can thaw. You could thaw
Right in the concrete.
a foot. Right in the concrete.
Oh, that's good.
And you just put quick
Genius.
connects on, and you blow out the glycol and reuse
Yeah.
it. So
Oh, that's great.
all you lose is just the line.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But
We're doing
ripping with an excavator is savage. It's like ripping in rock, basically.
Yeah, but I think it's worse because like I rip a lot of rock.
Yeah.
And I've gone once and ripped frost. If the rock was like that, you just hammer it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't really hammer frost that well.
No, the hammer tip gets stuck.
Yeah, or you're chipping off such little bits that it takes so long, and so you have to try and rip out these chunks, and it's just shit.
The machine moves around because you're on slippery ground and everything. So the other thing is when it's that cold, like we were talking about earlier, your diesel, like the wax in the diesel freezes, clogs up filters. So you have to have winter blend. I mean, they automatically just bring winter blend to the pumps, so it's not like we have to start putting additives in the diesel. It's already there. But we have to use Arctic hydraulic fluid. So usually a lighter synthetic hydraulic fluid.
I didn't even know that
Oh, yeah.
existed.
Well, when it gets like minus
Engine
30,
oil.
it gets
Engine
thick.
oil too. A lot lighter engine
Yeah.
oil because it stays so
So
much better.
if we have 1040, what do you have?
A lot of
5.
times it's 5.
Just 5.
No, well,
540.
540.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say 540 doesn't.
Sometimes there is an Arctic blend too that's 040.
Wow.
And it's everything is different, and they want you to swap it out. The tractors run just fine in the summer with the same oil.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like a lot of mining operations, like up in northern Alberta,
Yep.
they'll let all their like company trucks run
never
all
turn
night.
them off.
Nothing ever shuts off. They leave it run 24/7.
Yeah.
But
I watched Discovery Channel and saw that.
you did, yeah. Well, and like the small hydraulic lines, if you don't warm the machine up properly, those just start popping off. Everything becomes brittle, like steel's brittle, the hoses become brittle, the seals are brittle. So it's like you just end up with all these extra problems happening in the winter. So it is a challenge, but it's like anything. It sounds like it's terrible. Like I don't know if anyone's told you, but it's cold. But we all kind of adapt. Like it's just winter. It sucks.
I've got a couple of more questions before we finish off. What's bad content on the internet?
Come again?
What does bad content look like on social media?
I think anything that is not what your brand wants to represent. Mm-hmm. We have a very clean presence. Your child can get on and watch our stuff, and there's not something on there that you don't want your kid to see.
Yeah.
I put some stuff out sometimes, and I feel like we were talking about a little earlier. I feel like it's not super great and it does really well. And then the flip side, I think we all have experienced that very frequently. But the reality is as long as it's your brand and it's who you are, I think it's beneficial. But if you're straying from who you really are against your principles, against where you're at, it's no good.
I'd say like the rage bait, clickbait, all that kind of stuff, where they're just kind of putting junk out there just to try to get views and comments, like just for the sake of getting a lot of views and comments. I think
There are people on the internet that's their sole
all they do.
purpose. There's one guy that I can't. Oh,
You have shivers over it.
oh my gosh, it's so bad. Everyone would say the same thing, but it's all the videos. Everything that they're saying is wrong, they know it's wrong. It's polar opposite of like, you know, this is how you dig a hole, and it's going to be polar opposite of what should really happen. But it's rage bait. It's for them to get 1 million people like all of us clicking on it and saying that's not true. This is how you do it right. That's their MO. That's how they.
Most political content is probably most stuff on LinkedIn. I don't know if you the commenters on LinkedIn, or I don't know where they
I
come
can't
from.
stand the messages on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a whole HR department's just
It's
like
terrible.
ready to comment on your stuff.
Yeah. I think just be yourself. Like if you're yourself, what you're posting online, like ultimately in the end, like we're all individual people. We may be posting to help build our companies, but people are watching because of you and what you're posting. So be you. I mean, there's nobody else that can do that job, right? You're the only person that can do that. So if you're just getting out there and putting out the best version of yourself, you're going to win. It's going to be great.
Unless you suck.
Yeah.
Then do better.
I have
Be
some
better.
like some people who I know that like put out the stuff, rage stuff, tearing down posts from others, and it just isn't me, eh? Like you know,
It's exhausting.
Well, we all have enough going on in our own lives too. Like that's what she's saying. It's like just promote yourself and leave all the rest alone.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, last one, which is who do you watch outside of the industry that other people should watch that they could learn from? Oh, did you?
Outside of the industry?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll open it up. If you want someone inside of the industry that people should listen to or learn from, or someone that you've learned a lot from. God,
Man.
that fucking
Yeah.
Well,
Not everyone at
It's
once.
a challenging question.
Well, you just hate to leave someone out that was so influential in your life. Like I got 20 people I could list, and I should list 40, right? Like that's a tough one, really, because I don't want to. I mean, my guy would be a mentor and friend of mine, Mark Bradley. Like, just look him up, Google him, and start watching everything he's ever put out. And
What sort of stuff's he put out?
he founded a software company, sold it. Founded a landscaping company, built it to 50 million, and sold it. Like, built an incredible thing. One of the smartest people I know, and just has now he's building AI software for the industry. So like, it's just had an enormous. But again, there's my college professors in horticulture and construction. They're like,
We call it Hort here.
yeah, right.
call
We
it
go
Hort
hort
here.
now. Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, you're in now. So that's a tough one, man. Because I hate to give the one person credit when, like, Charles Vanderkoy, multiple overhead recovery guy. That was big for me back in it. Even though I didn't understand it, it helped me understand, like, down the road when I started not running my company like an idiot, how important it was for multiple overhead recovery systems to be implemented in the company. So, like, dude, and then again, I could list 6 or 7 more people off, but I'm afraid I'm going to forget the 8 or 9 more I should that have, like, had a yeah, geez. That's so tough, man. It's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
AI made it.
And with that, yes.
Well, I think like some of the, well, for me at least, like some of the podcasts and stuff you listen to, like health and wellness, like Huberman and Gary Brecka and those kind of people.
Jimmy
'Cause
Starbuck.
I find that
Jimmy Starbuck.
Jimmy Starbuck. That was going to be mine. That was going to be
outside the
mine.
industry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Outside the industry.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of us are probably the same. Like you grab a coffee for breakfast and then you forget to eat till 2 o'clock and then you realize you didn't eat anything. Then you're, so we're not all, taking care of ourselves as much as we.
Jordan
probably
Peterson,
could.
by the way. That would be. So I apologize,
Yeah,
Sean.
Peterson,
that would be
yeah.
like the outside industry guy, like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
So, Tim Scott, or who was Kobe and Michael Jordan's personal coach, or Chris Voss, he was a
he's
FBI hostage negotiator. He's the whole reason I say no deal is better than a bad deal. So he has a book called Never Split the Difference. It's a really good book.
It's a great book.
It's a really good book.
What's the key takeaway from Never Split the Difference?
Know your worth, and don't be afraid to ask for it.
Don't be afraid to ask for it.
Yeah, I mean the
Ask
reality
for
is
what you're worth.
The reality
That's a Chris
is
Voss technique. You mirror the person. All I had to do is repeat that back to you, and here you go. Like it's such an awesome. Chris Voss is awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
he got me. He did get me.
But it's great. It's great stuff.
It is a great book. I listened to it and it was a little bit of a struggle listening to it because he was reading it himself and it was kind of a weird deal. But if you listen to it, you'll understand. But no, it was a really good book. It changed how I run my business. So
There you go. Oh, so I haven't read, heard, listened to anything, and I will, of Chris Voss.
okay,
Is it Voss?
get back to me. VOSS.
Oh, and there you go. And
Dane
the
will
only
read it
person
to you,
who
though.
hasn't-
Oh yes,
Dane will read it to
I'll
you.
read it to you
Yeah.
at bedtime.
I think I prefer Chris Voss. And last but not least,
Outside of the industry, I think, at least for me, you touched on it a little bit. Like, we don't pay enough attention to ourselves. I think oftentimes we get so busy. We are the last priority in every way, mentally, physically, emotionally. I think that, I spend a ton of time like listening to health and wellness stuff, mental health type of podcasts, like personal growth type of podcasts. I think that's been the biggest help for me. Just like take care of yourself. We spend sometimes from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. working every day just to keep every one of these businesses going, or social media and family and the business, everything we're trying to juggle. And oftentimes we forget ourselves. So I don't know. I enjoy podcasts that are really focused on just like mental health and wellness and physical health and wellness, and just really trying to remember that if I am not healthy or if I am not in a good place, then all of this other stuff won't exist. So we do have to remember at
and it
some
falls
point
down pretty quickly as well.
fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like I've been going to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because there's 9:30. That's why I haven't been coming for dinner. I got to do too much talking. By the time I'm finished up, like people are asking me questions, I'm like this.
You're checked out. It's a bad representation of yourself, and like
Yeah,
you don't have enough
agreed.
energy to start tomorrow at 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Did anyone have anything else at the end of this? No?
It was great.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming today, everyone.
Thank you.
Dane,
Thank
Stephanie,
you.
Caleb, Sean. I appreciate it a lot. Check in tomorrow. Like, subscribe, share, comment. I'll send you out all of your videos. And last but not least, thank you very much for Sani for being able to put this on. I appreciate it a lot. If you haven't noticed, Sani everywhere.